What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd, and I'm back with another Age of Mythology Retold Beginner's Guide, this time for Ra. Before I get too much into it, I will be putting up an optimized Ra build on Patreon. If you're a Twitch subscriber, YouTube member, or Patreon member, you also get access to my cheat sheets in the Discord. So don't forget to take advantage of that if you are supporting in any way, shape, or form, but optimized video on Patreon. Now, Beginner's Guide. Ra has a huge bonus inside of his kit with his Migdol units, 15% extra HP. This one is really big deal. On top of this, he's also got monuments that he can empower, and he can get everything empowered in his base with his Pharaoh without the real need for extra priests to help him out. That all being said, there are some things that make Ra really strong. We're going to be going through Ptah today. I do also think Bast is really good, but that's going to be a different build order and a different strategy for a different day. So, talking about Ptah, he's got this God Power Shifting Sands, which is a game-winning God Power, and it costs only 50 favor. This is huge. Keep that in the back of your mind. Wadgets are also pretty good. They've got like a poison damage thing going on, so the more you attack, the more that stacks up. So you can just attack, retreat, and you can get a lot of damage done over time. Don't really want to let this unit get attacked though. These upgrades here are more of your mid-game upgrades to late game. Can kind of ignore them, and if we're going to be building any barracks units anyways. And then we finally have Shadoof, which is the big powerhouse upgrade in Ptah. The reason we want to go Ptah is for this upgrade. Makes our farms not only build faster, but cost less gold. Really important because Ra has this rain god power, which we want to be using quite a lot of. On top of this, Ra's also got terrible scouting, but guess what? If we go through Sobek in the Heroic Age, we get access to the Rock. Now, the Rock is a shell of itself, but it's a free scout, and I want to use my god to the best of its ability, and I'm going to be using this unit to not only scout, but after I've gotten information on the map as to where I need to raid, I'm also going to be using this unit in my army to distract enemy fire. Opponent's units really struggle to hit this unit, especially if it's moving over them, so definitely run it over the top of enemy units, and that's going to be really fun. I don't really think the Pitsukos is worth building more than the one that you get for free. Reason being is we want to be spending all that favor on rain, and we'll talk about the myth unit you want to be building a little bit later. These other upgrades are all really good as well, with Dark Waters really helping your camel riders out as well as caravans. But Sun-Dried Mudbrick is a must grab. It's very expensive though, so when you want to grab this one is up to you. And finally, in the Mythic Age, we're thinking about either Osiris or Horus. Now, this just depends on what our opponent is going to be building. Either you're going to be going for Osiris if they're building a lot of small units like infantry, infantry archers, or things like that. If they're going for big units like cavalry units, you might want to be considering Horus and taking into Spearman, greatest of the 50. Spear of Horus, greatest of the 50. You've also got access to Axe of Vengeance, which really boosts your Axemen. And if you're playing against Norse, this is a must go. So if you're playing against Norse, I'm thinking Horus. If you're playing against like an Egyptian player who's going through Thoth, I'm thinking Horus. Otherwise, mostly Osiris. Okay. I unfortunately screwed up and didn't record audio on the past thing. So we're going to have to jump back here, and we're going to be looking at the replay of this build here. Let me jump up. Bam. And we have a Beginner's Guide Ra. All right. So first things first, this is not optimized, but it's going to be very simple to execute. So first thing we want to do is we're simply just going to put our Pharaoh and our villagers onto gold. Very simple. After that, we're going to be throwing a villager over onto wood, and this villager is going to be chopping ourselves just enough wood to get ourselves pickaxe. I'm floating 100 wood right now. I want to use it. Let me go and chop that tree down and enjoy this. It's going to be really big help. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of idle time here, or walking time, I should say, for the villager, but we're only going to be wanting 120 wood, and then that's going to be fine. After this, we're going to be putting 7 villagers to food. Reason for this is we just need to get that food for the classical age as fast as we can, while also getting ourselves all the other upgrades that we might want. So we're going to be getting ourselves a monument here. You can see that I've dropped this monument let me get rid of this. We've dropped this monument right in the middle of our town center here. This will block our farms, but it's going to hit our berry bush, and it's going to hit our chickens. And this is really important for later in the game. Reason is we want to be able to empower our monument to hit farms on this granary, to hit farms on this granary, to hit the town center here, so that we can get ourselves around about 20 farms in our main base that are really, really nice and efficient. So we build the mining camp, we throw the house down, and we're going to be researching pickaxe. This is why we go mining camp first and then house. It doesn't really matter, but we're just going to get that. We're squeezing that that pickaxe out very, very quickly. A really, really easy way to do this to make sure you never get idle villager time is once you get 7 villagers on food, that's when you're going to be able to get that that pickaxe out every single time. Really, really nice timing to remember there. The next thing we want to be looking at here, and you don't have to focus on anything else. It's a really, really nice build. Nothing to focus on here is you're just watching this gold tick down at this point. Now, one other thing you could potentially be doing here if you really wanted to is scouting with these goats nice and early. I'm not going to say it's a little bit risky to do that, and I do think you should do it for around about a minute or a minute and a half, just so you don't let them they don't get stolen from your opponent. But yeah, it's an idea. Anyways, once this gold mine gets to 2860 gold, it's time to throw a temple up. Now you can build that temple just with a villager, but I recommend chucking this priest over it. And if you really want to do some sweaty micro, what you can do is you can watch this villager going up in gold, and once it gets to about 11 or 12 gold, pull the priest back over, select your villagers, drop off everything, hold shift, right click on the gold mine really, really quickly, and then you can send the priest back over to empower that temple up. That's one way to go about it, right? All right, so what are the problems here with Ra? Why is Ra so difficult? It's because Ra doesn't know what his opponent's doing. But I'm about to give you a really, really cheeky technique that you can get a lot of information out just by knowing this one thing. Score drops, and have a look at this. When the resources go down, look at my score dropping. I know when my opponent is advancing to the next age, because they've spent 400 resources, they're going to drop the score down. I know when my opponent is going for a second town center, because he drops score by 700. So all we need to do is be watching that score when our opponent hits the classical age, and if we notice that score dropping by 700, or even better yet, gaining 700, we know that our opponent has either started the town center or completed the town center. It's a really, really big thing. So villagers now, as we're advancing, I just leave 8 on gold here. Villagers going to come over onto our berry bushes. Make sure that that granary is in range of your monument, barely in range here. It's not hugely important, but I think you're going to really need those farms up on that and be empowering it for the mid game. We're also dropping a monument here. We're also getting houses, and nothing really is changing. And we're going to be going for a villager center here on top of our chickens. Now you can go on top of your berries if it's closer. Whatever is closer is better. It doesn't matter. Chickens, berries, whatever. We're going to take 7 villagers and build this town center. And our home town center is just going to be sending villagers to gold. We're also going to be throwing up a market here. And we've also seen no drop in the score, so we know what's happening. Happy days. So, the market is the building we want, not the armory. Why? Well, Ra's biggest weakness is on his second gold mine. If we can't get there, we need to figure out something to do and not just resign the game because we couldn't get onto our gold mine. So we're going to be building a Migdol in our main base. We're going to be making our units. We're going to be raiding. If our opponent is staying one town center here, we're going to have to sit in our base and wait. So the answer is, these villagers, once they finish that gold, they're going to come over, drop a lumber camp over here, or chop the trees down up here, whatever they feel like, and they're going to be really, really good here onto this wood. And you're just going to sell wood for a little bit. You're going to be able to rain and sell gold as well. So you've got a lot of time to sit in your main base without needing to leave. I've just used this lay of the land for some reason. I can't exactly remember why, but I wanted to talk about something. Ignore it. It's fine. And all the villagers just coming out. Pharaoh's on this monument, hitting this, hitting this, hitting this. And look at this. We've got 1 farming location, 2 farming location, 3 farming location, 4 farming location to be on everything. Not only this, the town center here, the reason, let's pause. The reason why a villager center isn't as bad as people are thinking is because the villagers pop out of the town center and they jump straight onto a resource. So while the villager center is training at 20 seconds per villager, the villagers are starting to gather straight away. And not only that, if we take a look at the walk time here from this town center to here, it's pretty good. That's not a lot of time. Whereas from this position here, they have to walk all the way around this cliff to get to this town center. There's nothing on the town center. They have to walk all the way to this hunt or all the way over here. Yeah, the wood line's close, but we don't really want wood at the moment. This town center is obviously a huge distance to travel. And also, if we were playing as the Norse player in this position here, check this one out, gold mine here. Look at how far he has to walk. That's a huge distance to his close second town center. So this sort of a town center grab here will give yourself a slight advantage, or an advantage, I should say, for around about 4 minutes. That's my current guesstimate on how good this is. So I'm hitting 730. I've got 4 minutes of advantage here. That's about 1 minute of advantage in terms of military, where I have more resources than I would have otherwise to put pressure onto my opponent and get some sort of damage. And guess what we've got? We've got Shifting Sands, we've got Locust. These God powers here will allow us to hit some sort of a raid on our opponent who's got his villagers out in the middle of nowhere. So we're looking to Shifting Sands onto them with a whole bunch of units at about 8 minutes into the game, or 8 minutes 30 into the game. And we're looking to get some sort of damage done. And then we're just going to run back home and say whatever. So we're looking with that rock to find those villager kills. On top of that, now we're going through Sobek and take a look at the villagers. We've got 11 on wood. We've got 10 on gold. We've still got a healthy 7 on food. This is enough to allow us to do all this stuff. Now, our opponent's going to be hitting us here with a little bit of an attack. Our villager center doesn't attack, so we have to garrison villagers into it. But now look at it. It's doing 26.6 damage per second. Why is it doing 26.6 damage per second, you ask? It's because I'm empowering this monument and it's hitting my villager center. So the villager center is shooting at 0.7 seconds. That's really, really quick. So it's doing a huge amount of extra damage here. And I just kill off all of these guys' units while having no defenses. It's a really, really helpful defensive tool. And then also the priest can come back and heal everything up, make sure we're all nice and safe. Okay, so now we get this rock. And we were talking, yeah, the rock's not very good. It's not good as a transport. It's great as a scout. So we're going to be looking to get early damage done and make sure we're going to force our opponent out. We were talking about using that Shifting Sands. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure our opponent can't be sitting in their base on food. So one option, this isn't the only option. You can use it on army. You can use it on villages or whatever. But one option is to just send your rock to your opponent's base and click Locust on their berries and shoot it straight into the town center to hit their goats as well. So it's going to kill all of their food and force them outside of their base. Obviously, hitting villagers or hitting army might be a better choice, so this might not be the best idea, or combining it with Shifting Sands with a handful of units here in the with this attack. Probably don't want to Shifting Sands your Wadget and Crocodile forward, but yeah, just get a handful of units Shifting Sands onto their villagers. They're going to be very, very scared with that. Like right here would have been a great Shifting Sands onto those villagers there as I walk through, or even Locust Shifting Sands would have been huge as well. But we're just going to be hitting the berries, and you can see what this Locust does when I use it. Locust is going to come through sooner or later as the units are going to pop in. And again, we can just retreat back. We are so safe here. Look at the towers are even doing extra damage. The tower's even doing extra damage. And my rock is still going to hang. And there's my Locust. And I'm going to try and hit all these berries. They all get removed here from the game. I missed a couple. No, I didn't. They're all going to get removed. And also, the goats are going to die as well. You can see them taking some HP damage underneath the town center as well. So they all basically die. One lives, but they all die, and they're going to stop getting that. They're going to stop fattening up. So we sort that out as well. And now, yeah, we definitely want to be looking for that Shifting Sands with that rock after you hit that attack, and you're good to go. You're good to have a really, really good game. At this point, we run out of gold. So we've already killed his army off twice, so we know we're in a good spot, and we can come up and put this Migdol Stronghold. If we haven't done that, we really need to be seeing, is my opponent on this gold? Is my opponent on this gold? And we need to go to the place where he's not to put our Migdol Stronghold up. And if he is there, we're just going to jump onto wood. And we're throwing our farms down here as well, ready to put our first rain on. You can see I sent my Pharaoh over here to put the Migdol Stronghold up. That's totally fine as well. And the other thing here is if we can find any goats at any point in the classical age, it's really going to delay these farms even more. You can see we kind of don't want to build farms right now. If I had like 3 or 4 more goats, it would be really, really nice. But we've got our Shadoof, so the farms are really cheap. We can click rain at this point, though. We want a couple more villages on farms to get full value. 11 isn't the best, but if we can get more, it's going to be great. My villagers need to be not idle, but that's totally cool. And now we're just going to continue playing along the game here. We can go for a Mythic Age here through Osiris. We can go through a Mythic Age here through Horus. We can pump units out, keep raiding. This is essentially the game plan. You can also get your upgrades at this point, getting hand axe, shaft mine, husbandry, and also getting that irrigation god power. Oh, not god power, technology. But yeah, this is a fun build. You're going to be able to be really active with these strong Ra units. I'd recommend getting more monuments down as well as the game goes on, because you really want to get up to at least 4 monuments with Ra, if not 5, to be spamming out those mummies, Avengers, and upgrades in that Mythic Age. It's really, really good. Also getting yourself all of these rains off cooldown here. You can see I'm now on 16 farms. I've also brought my Pharaoh back over here. I should put my Priest over onto this position now, but I've also got room to put farms down over here as well, spamming out those camels. I can also get this upgrade from my market here, Dark Water, so I don't have to occupy my Migdol stronghold for this one. If I want to make those camel riders a little bit stronger, is another option there. So it's another good reason. You also want to be throwing down an armory at some point here to make sure you get those armory upgrades. Don't forget to do that. Often you will forget if you're playing this build, because you normally have the armory, right? But you don't, so make sure you're going to throw it down at some point. Anyways, that's the beginner's guide. If you feel like I didn't explain anything all too well, definitely leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you really want that optimized Ra build and you want to be sweating it out, I've got it up on Patreon. If you guys enjoyed this one, leave a comment, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.